What makes backing such a hazardous maneuver is the fact that you're taking the unknown and not being able to see. That's why we don't want to try to back no more than we have to, because as you're backing up, things can come in from either side of you at angles that the mirrors don't catch.
You're always going to have a blind side of your vehicle. You're never going to be able to see all the way around your vehicle, and it's easy to get surprised by things that you forgot were there or lose track of their position.
You don't just stop your truck and just start backing up. You have to give some kind of notice. Usually you get out of your truck, go back there and see what's behind you, make sure there's no any kind of something you're going to hit, maybe small that you can't see in your mirror. So a physical going out there and take a look makes all the difference.
Even though you spend less than 1% of your time in reverse gear, you're more likely to have a backing collision than any other kind of collision. And there's a simple reason for this. The large blind zone behind a truck greatly limits your view to the rear. Backing collisions can result in thousands of dollars in vehicle and property damage, and even injuries or fatalities. But here's the key point. Backing collisions are preventable. By following the safety practices you will hear about in this program, you can greatly reduce your chance of ever having a backing collision. Because backing up is so hazardous, the best practice is to avoid backing whenever possible. Think ahead and plan the positioning of your vehicle so that you won't need to back up. By using foresight, you can avoid many backing situations. For example, you can sometimes avoid backing by driving around the block before making your stop, or by entering driveways and loading areas in a way that positions you to drive out head first. Stay at least 15 feet behind the vehicle in front of you when stopping in traffic. If you can see the rear tires of the vehicle in front of you, you have enough space to steer around the vehicle if necessary without backing up. At intersections, leave enough space in front of your truck to allow vehicles turning from the intersecting street to get by you. Otherwise, you could be forced to back up in traffic. Now, there's one situation when we cannot avoid backing up. That's when connecting equipment. It's essential to complete this procedure correctly to prevent decoupling of the trailer and the possibility of a catastrophic crash. When connecting your equipment, make sure the trailer is at the proper height. The trailer can jump the fifth wheel if it is too high. Perform a tug test. Visually inspect the connection. Make sure the jaws are entirely around the kingpin. Use a flashlight at night or in inclement weather. Also inspect the nut on the front of the fifth wheel. It should rest fully against the fifth wheel and the pull release. You should not see any areas that indicate rubbing. Be sure to check the trailer connection during every pre-trip, en-route, and post-trip inspection. If a connection fails any of the checks, call maintenance. Do not move the trailer. Remember, you play a vital role in making sure only safe and properly inspected equipment is on the highway. Please pause the program now and take a few minutes to discuss the review questions you see on the screen. As you've heard, the best way to prevent a backing collision is to avoid backing up in the first place. But sometimes you must back up, for example, when connecting a trailer. So let's discuss the ways to be prepared for safe backing when necessary. If your truck is equipped with a backup alarm, remember to test it during the pre-trip inspection to make sure it is working properly. You'll also need to adjust the mirrors. You know that your view to the rear is limited to what you can see in your mirrors. So proper adjustment is critical for safe backing as well as normal driving. Use a mirror check station to properly adjust your mirrors. In general, you want the mirrors to provide the maximum view on both sides of the truck and to the extent possible behind the truck. Detailed instructions on using the mirror check station are available at your branch. Now you're ready to start a safe backing maneuver. Let's review the 3 backing steps. The first step is always to ask yourself whether backing is really necessary. Are there any safer alternatives? Can I pull through spaces versus backing? Remember that in most cases, it's safer to back into a space rather than backing out. If you must back up, your next step is to get out and look before starting the maneuver. Walk around the outside of the truck, checking the road surface and travel path for hazards. Make sure you have adequate clearance at the top and sides of your vehicle. If the route is too dangerous, go back to step 1. Get back into the driver's seat and check your mirrors again. Open the window and turn off the radio and any other audible devices so you can listen for traffic outside. If the area is still clear, begin backing immediately before the conditions behind you change. Step 3 is back slowly. First, turn on your flashers and tap the horn before starting to back up. Now begin backing slowly to stay in control of the truck. Moving slowly also improves your ability to judge distances correctly. Back into rather than out of parking spaces, and, whenever possible, back up in a straight line. If you must make a backing turn, always try to back to the driver's side. When backing to the blind side, your visibility is dangerously limited. Constantly check your outside mirrors as you back up. When backing a long distance, you may need to stop part way and walk around the vehicle again to make sure the travel path is still clear. Remember that objects in your right side mirror may appear farther away than they really are. The distortion is even more pronounced in the smaller convex mirrors designed to provide a wider view. The final step in safe backing is to use a guide whenever possible. You'll hear more about working with a guide in the next segment of this program. Please pause the program now and discuss the review questions you see on the screen. Using a guide is one of the best ways to increase the safety of backing maneuvers. Whenever possible, have someone act as a guide or spotter while you're backing up. Just remember that you are still the captain of your vehicle. Don't hesitate to get out and look for yourself if you have any questions or concerns about safety. You and the guide must first agree on the hand signals you will use to communicate. Let's review the standard hand signals for directing a truck. To signal a stop, raise both hands above the shoulder with open palms facing the driver. Close the hands to indicate an emergency stop. Signal a backup by raising the right hand above the head with the palm of the hand turned inward. Then roll the arm and hand in a circular motion. Roll toward the body if standing at the left rear of the truck and away from the body if standing in front. To signal a backing turn to the right, raise the left hand above the shoulder, rolling the arm and hand in a circular motion. Point the index finger of your right hand to the right and continue the circular motion with your left arm and hand. Reverse this signal for a backing left turn. Raise the right hand above the shoulder, rolling the arm and hand in a circular motion. Point the index finger of your left hand to the left and continue the circular motion with the right arm and hand. To indicate the amount of distance left to back up, hold the arms above the head, hands apart, with palms facing inward. Start to bring the hands together when the backing distance is about 3 feet. Gradually move the hands closer as the distance decreases. When the truck reaches the proper position, rotate the palms forward and signal a stop. To signal the driver to go forward, raise the right hand above the shoulder and point the index finger ahead. Move your hand in forward motion several times. Now you are ready to begin the backing maneuver. Have the guide stand where he or she has a good view of the travel path and where you can clearly see the hand signals. Be certain that guides never stand where they could be trapped behind your vehicle. If you can't see your guide, stop immediately. Backing onto a roadway is so dangerous that you should avoid it if at all possible. If you must back up into traffic, however, a guide is necessary. The guide should watch for the traffic to clear and then direct you onto the street when conditions are safe. As we stated before, simply using a guide does not relieve the driver from the responsibility of performing these critical backing steps. Please pause the program now and discuss the review questions you see on the screen. Backing is one of the most hazardous maneuvers for a truck driver to perform, and the chances of having a collision are high unless you take every precaution to back up safely. The first step is simply to avoid backing whenever possible. Before backing, always ask yourself, is it really necessary? Get out and look before backing up. Walk around your vehicle and check for hazards in the travel path. Repeat this process if needed when backing up long distances. Back up slowly and whenever possible in a straight line to maintain control of your truck. Turn on your flashers, sound your horn. Do not back to the blind side and check all mirrors while backing. And finally, use a guide whenever possible to act as your second set of eyes outside the truck. But remember, a guide does not relieve the driver from the responsibility of these steps. Safe backing. It's a crucial skill for professional drivers, essential to protect both the integrity of your vehicle and the lives and property of others.